Go interactive with X-Ray, where we bring trading experts to you live in the platform. Choose sessions, watch live market analysis, and catch up on your favorite market insights anytime. Ask questions and go one-to-one with leading experts on gold, oil, FX, crypto, indices, and equities. X-Ray, your very own analysis team, right at your fingertips. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
2020 was a difficult year for us all. World economies have crashed. Financial markets showed us again how important it is to be aware of the global economy. And, believe it or not, many people have profited from the movements in the markets. This December, we bring you the biggest open source webinar series for beginner traders to help each and every one of you understand the basics of online trading and investments from industry experts. Learn from the CEOs is the biggest webinar series organized by InstructFX with the extraordinary participation of 5 CEOs of 5 top Forex companies worldwide. Join us live on Monday, the 14th of December at 1700 GMT for the grand opening with an amazing webinar on trading currency pairs with João Monteiro, CEO at 4XC. On Tuesday, the 15th of December, trading stocks and indices is the topic of the day with Phil Adler, CEO at ETX Capital, straight from the heart of London. Wednesday, the 16th, the week only gets better with Joe Rundle, CEO at Markets.com for an amazing webinar on trading commodities. Just when you thought that things can't get any better, on Thursday, the 17th, we have the cryptocurrencies trading webinar with our surprise guest. Finally, on Friday the 18th, it's your time to shine in the Fidelity Gala Awards, where InstructFX is rewarding you for watching us live with amazing prizes. Join the biggest open source webinar of 2020 and learn what most Forex brokers don't want you to know from 5 reputable CEOs. Click on the link below and reserve your seat for the biggest open source webinar of 2020, hosted by yours truly, Andrew, the Chart Whisperer. Learn, observe, trade with InstructFX.
Boom, and we're live. What's happening, people? Good morning, America. Good afternoon, Europe, and welcome everyone to our live stream. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday, people. How are you guys doing? Let me know how you guys doing. Type your comments, type your questions if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to help. We're only 3 hours away from the Fidelity Gala Awards, guys, where InstructFX is rewarding you for watching us live. At exactly 1700 hours GMT, we start the Fidelity Gala Awards after a marathon week of webinars with 4 CEOs of 4 reputable Forex brokerages worldwide. You can watch us live at 1700 hours GMT on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you like what you see, guys, remember to like, share, subscribe, and support us in delivering more great content. Now, let's get down to business and see what is happening in the markets today, Friday, 18th of December, 2020. European Union announced earlier that the Brexit trade deal is only hours away. Moderna stock fell 0.2% pre-US Open today following a 5% surge yesterday after the FDA announced they are looking to approve the emergency use vaccine. Wall Street major indices closed at record highs yesterday as the stimulus measures approval seem imminent, and today we're waiting for the US indices to open on a positive note, creating higher highs. Gold futures traded slightly higher today on the European trading session, eyeing once again the 1,900 level. And Bitcoin, guys, the absolute champion, traded at $22,700 after giving back some gains following the impressive rally in the last few days, settling above the $20,000 benchmark. This show is proudly sponsored by our partners at Markets.com. U.S. markets open, coming up. All right, guys, we're back once again. Good morning, America. Good morning, New York, and good afternoon, Europe. Ramesh, hi, Ramesh. Good afternoon. How are you? Type your comments. Let us know if you're struggling with anything, if you want to learn anything, and I'll do my best to help. Let's see, first of all, what happened in the economic calendar today, guys, how the major assets performed, and then we're going to move on to a couple of very interesting articles. I'm going to show you some stocks, the hottest stocks of the day, and then we're going to move on to the charts of the day and the signals of the day. And in case you forgot, in exactly 2.5 hours from now, we're starting the Fidelity Gala Awards, where InstructFX is rewarding you for watching us live. So you can watch us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV at 1700 hours GMT. Now, let's see what happened in the economic calendar, guys. We started nice and early in the morning with announcements from Japan. We saw Bank of Japan interest rate decision was unchanged at the negative 0.1%. And then we started with announcements at 9 o'clock GMT plus 2 this morning from UK. We had quite a few announcements. We had the retail sales and the core retail sales, which most of them came out in green, better than what economists have predicted. However, the pound pushed lower today. As well as German PPI and German business expectation announcements, which came out in green as well. We had the German IFO business climate, which again came out better than what economists have predicted. The euro did a bit better than the pound today. It pushed a bit higher, but nothing impressive has happened yet. Probably it's Friday afternoon. Probably the markets are tired after a very, very hot week in terms of announcements and volatility. And that's why the market didn't react how we expect them to react. Anyhow, let's move on. We saw a couple of announcements on the Canadian dollar. We saw the core retail sales and the retail sales in Canada coming out. The month over month, they came out at 0% worse than what economists have predicted. We're going to have a look at the charts in a few minutes and see how the USD CAD pair moved today. And this is it, basically. We're going to have the unemployment rate announced at 6 o'clock GMT plus 2 on the Russian ruble, guys. The unemployment rate in Russia is expected to remain 6.3%, to remain unchanged from the previous 6.3%. And then we're going to have a small press conference from FOMC. Apart from that, we're going to have the usual speculative net positions that are announced every Friday in the economic calendar. Let's see, not a big day in the economic calendar today, not a very big day, but the markets did react to some announcements. First thing first, let's start with the first news that comes from UK, guys. EU's Barnier says just hours left for a Brexit trade deal. That was announced by Reuters 23 minutes ago. Let's see what the article says. The European Union said on Friday there were just hours left to strike a Brexit deal, while Britain called on the bloc to see sense as the two sides race to prevent a turbulent final to the Brexit crisis at the end of the month. And this is probably the best thing to do, considering what is going on. Right, we see some comments, guys. Bear with us for a second. Hey, Appeal, hi, how are you, my man? Stay tuned. We're going to have a Q&A session. If you have any questions regarding Forex, regarding the financial markets, if you're struggling with anything, towards the end of the webinar, type your questions and I will answer your questions towards the end of the webinar. Okay, first of all, I want to go through the news of the day, have a look at the charts, have a look at some trading signals, and then I will take your questions. So feel free to type your questions and your comments, and I'll do my best to help towards the end. Right, back to the article, guys. Both sides are demanding the other compromise amid a flurry or often conflicting messages that variously a deal is possible, a deal is in serious trouble, or that a deal is imminent. Several hours after EU chief negotiator Michel Barnier told London that there were just hours left to navigate a narrow path towards a deal, Boris Johnson said the British door was open, but that the European Union should see sense and compromise. Also, Boris Johnson said Britain would keep talking, but that he would not compromise on taking back control of its laws and its fishing waters, which he sees as fundamental point of leaving the European Union. Right, Britain formally left on January 31st after its 2016 referendum, but since then it's been in a transition period under which rules on trade, travel, and business remain unchanged. That period ends in less than 2 weeks from now, guys, on December 31st. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going to happen with the pound, guys. Everyone basically announced that considering the COVID pandemic and the UK leaving the European Union, possibly without a Brexit deal, could have catastrophic impact on the pound. Now let's see if both governments will want to make sense and look for a solution, for a good solution for both countries. Right, I was telling you about stocks today, guys. Let's have a quick look at some stocks that are in focus pre-market today. We're looking at FedEx that fell 3.1% after the delivery company failed to provide guidance for next year, citing COVID-inspired uncertainty. It still reported an almost doubling in quarterly profit in its fiscal second quarter on the back of rate hikes and increased volumes. However, it dropped 3.1%. Let's see what's going to happen today. Microsoft stock fell 0.6% after the tech giant said it was hacked as a part of a campaign that has hit multiple U.S. government agencies by taking advantage of the widespread use of the software Solaris Winds, down 0.3%. Guys, once again, Microsoft announced they got hacked. How big is this? Wow. And the stock only fell 0.6%. That was pre-market. Let's see what's going to happen after the markets open, guys. Probably going to see a lot of selling power if a giant as Microsoft admits that it got hacked. Right, more on stocks, guys. Coca-Cola stock rose 0.2% after the soft drinks giant announced plans to cut 2,200 jobs globally, including 1,200 jobs in the United States, as the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic accelerate its business restructuring. Right, Moderna, guys, stock fell 0.2%, retracing slightly after the 5% gains the previous session on the back of an advisory panel of the FDA recommending approval of its COVID-19 drug. And the last but not the least, guys, we see Zoom Video Communications rising 0.1% pre-market after the communications company announced it was removing the time limit for its free accounts on all meetings globally for the holiday season. And this is great, guys, because I was planning to do another round of webinars very, very soon. And I wanted to invite a lot of people. And I was thinking to use Zoom, but I wanted to use the free version. So that is great news from Zoom. Zoom, based on this announcement, could skyrocket, could trade even higher today. Right, let's move on to another interesting article, guys. There we go. U.S. blacklists dozen of Chinese firms, including SMIC. Big news. What happens? What happens in the U.S.? Why are they blacklisting so many companies? The United States confirmed this morning that it will add dozens of Chinese companies, including the country's top chip maker, SMIC, to a trade blacklist. The move, which was first reported by Reuters, is seen as the latest in President Donald Trump's effort to cement his tough on China legacy. It comes just weeks before Democratic President-elect Joe Biden is set to take office on January 20. The U.S. Commerce Department confirmed the decision early Friday, saying the action stems from China military civil fusion doctrine and evidence of activities between SMIC and entities of concern in the Chinese military-industrial complex. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said in a statement that the department would not allow advanced U.S. technology to help build the military of an increasingly adversary. And he's right. If you think about it, guys. Chinese economy. China is the only economy, as things stand right now, that has recovered after the COVID pandemic. Although the COVID pandemic supposedly started from China, so they were affected the most. Well, there you go. They weren't affected the most. Their economy is strong. Their economy is recovering way faster than everyone else. So it kind of makes sense. It's kind of normal for big competitors, let's say, like the US or Europe or Russia, to try and take action, to try and keep up with with the Chinese economy. Remember what happens when you play football, guys. Many times when you see a team very close to the other team's gate, to the other team's goalkeeper, they will create a foul on purpose. Okay, so this applies in business as well. Okay, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it makes a lot of sense that they are trying at least to stagnate the economy, the Chinese economy, from growing if they cannot keep up with it. Now, it's not up to me to decide if this is the right measure or not, but it is my job to tell you what is going on, and very, very likely this is one of the reasons why it's happening. The other reason, obviously, has to do with China, with Chinese companies having very, very close ties, with the Chinese government and the military. Okay, and the US is not really comfortable, allowing Chinese intel, let's say Chinese intelligence into the US. Right, let's move on. But before that, I'll tell you what. Let's take a 30-second break, and then we're coming back live with the charts of the day and the signals of the day. What do you say? All right. Meanwhile, don't forget to type your questions, type your comments, guys. If you have anything you're struggling with, if you want to learn about Forex trading, remember, InstructFX is providing free guidance, free mentoring. You can even talk to me. You can even book a one-on-one session with myself. I've been in the industry for the last 10 years, guys. I can help a lot. Let's take 30 seconds, and we're coming back live with the charts of the day and the signals of the day. Stay tuned.
Keep your finger on the market pulse with the News Alerts tool. Stay up to date on the latest sentiment across all the major asset classes. Uncover bullish or bearish signals tied to specific assets that could be developing before major price moves, and track how news sentiment correlated with price in the past. Track the news volume on an asset, its fear index, and get a better feel for its underlying strength. All with News Alerts, your central hub for market information. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
And we are back with the charts of the day, guys. This lovely Friday afternoon, 18th of December, 2020. We're going to start with crude oil futures as usual. We see crude oil trading at $48.84. It started an impressive rally about an hour ago, and we can see it pushing higher and higher and higher. Probably traders will definitely eye for the 49.20, 49.50 level for short-term trades to the upside. Now, looking at the RSI and stochastic, they're both pointing upwards, leading us to believe there's still great potential to the upside for crude oil futures. Let's have a quick look at the euro, guys. Euro USD, the most traded currency pair in the world, 122.50, still 122.50 for the euro USD this afternoon. Literally unchanged from yesterday. I remember yesterday at this exact time we were talking about euro USD, and the price was the exact price as we see this afternoon, 122.50. Let's see what's going to happen. Again, probably the markets are exhausted, guys. Probably the markets are exhausted after so many news this week and so much activity. And the traders are just taking a step back, knowing that the markets will shut down for the weekend, for Saturday and Sunday. Right, let's see what's going to happen. We're going to have a look at some trading signals in a minute. I can't say anything with regards to the Euro USD pair. We might see a retest to the downside of that 50 MA at 122.32. Okay, but in the same time, we might see the Euro USD pushing even higher, aiming that 122.75, 122.80, somewhere in that region. Let's see what's going to happen. Moving on to the pound, guys, which yesterday traded at historical highs, 135.11 for the pound, as things stand right now, versus the US dollar. We saw the pound giving back some gains today during the European trading session, and last night as well on the Asian trading session. We might see a retest of the 134.37 to the downside, with the RSI and stochastic turning around and pointing downwards. Now, USD JPY, on the other hand, did a bit better in the last couple of trading sessions. It gained a lot, almost tested that 200 moving average to the upside yesterday on the US trading session. Today, it gave back all those gains, but it seems set for a retest at that 103.72 to the upside, where that 200 moving average is. 103.32 as things stand right now for USD JPY. Guys, we are 10 minutes into the US trading session. We see the RSI turning around from the 50% mark, pointing upwards, which usually indicates quite a bit of buying power, a bit of positivity on the US dollar. So even though this downtrend might continue, guys, we might see a retest at that 103.70, somewhere there, somewhere in that region. Now, the Aussie dollar, guys. The Aussie dollar, just like the European currencies, took a bit of a beating in the last couple of trading sessions. 0.7601 for the Aussie dollar versus the US dollar this afternoon. We see it testing that 50 MA to the downside. Then we see that 200 MA at 0.7538, sounding really promising. We see the RSI and stochastic turning around, indicating a lot of selling power. We might see a retest, guys. We might see a retest of that 200 MA to the downside. However, I wouldn't get carried away and place a take profit that low. I'd go for the 50% mark. Okay, remember, guys, the rule, there's always the 50% mark. When you're not sure 100% about a take profit or a stop loss level, go for the 50% mark, if it makes sense. Yeah, so somewhere there, somewhere around 0.7569, 0.7570, we might see a bit of a pullback from the Aussie dollar as the first take profit level. And obviously, if that's going to continue, probably traders will eye for that 200 moving average to the downside at 0.7538. Let's move on to USD CAD. Which did a retest of that 200 moving average, 127.51 for USD CAD this afternoon, with the RSI stochastic pointing sharply lower. Now, there is potential to the downside, and if you look carefully, guys, you're going to see this ranging market that gives many traders a lot of opportunities most of the times. So, for you to understand, for beginner traders to understand how a ranging market works, a ranging market means the price goes sideways. Yeah, it doesn't go in a trend. It doesn't go up or down. It trades sideways. Yeah, and you can mark the average highs and the average lows, yeah, and trade that segment of the market that you see there. So in this case, for example, it would make a bit of sense for a potential sell position with the first take profit at 127.26. Yeah, and if you're brave, or if you have more flexibility in your trading account, or if this movement, this downward movement will continue, yeah, if the price keeps getting rejected by that 200 MA to the upside, then traders might target the previous lows at 126.95, guys. Yeah, there is potential to the downside with the RSI and stochastic pointing downwards and turning around from the overbought levels. Okay, but let's see what's going to happen. We're going to have a look at some trading signals. Meanwhile, we're going to move on to the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, guys, which opened slightly higher this afternoon, but they're pulling back as we speak. 37.1824 for the S&P 500 with the RSI stochastic pointing downwards. And for the Dow Jones, guys, 32.9757 this afternoon. Again, with the RSI and the stochastic trading quite high in the overbought levels. Just like the S&P 500, we see a positive opening on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, but there's no gap. There's no big opening. There's no huge gap on the market, at least as things stand right now. Let's move on to the US dollar index, which retracted a bit from the downtrend. It's currently trading close to that 50 moving average to the upside at 89,987, 89,900 flat for the US dollar index. Things stand right now. Let's see. Usually that 50 MA or that 200 MA acts like a ceiling, so it's kind of preventing the price to go higher. But if the US dollar trades higher, guys, that can only mean one thing. Gold futures will trade lower this afternoon, 1888.85 for gold futures 15 minutes into the US trading session. We see a retest of that 20 MA as things stand right now, but it might push even lower. Yeah, and test that 50 MA at 1880. Let's see what's going to happen. We see the markets not being able to create higher highs. We saw a lower high being created, yeah, which usually could translate in a bit of selling power. Yeah, so don't be surprised if gold futures will trade even below that 50 MA this afternoon, targeting the 1870 level, somewhere there. Now, Brent oil futures on a 60-minute chart. What a fantastic rally. $52 flat for Brent oil futures this afternoon. The rally started 2 hours ago. Great potential to the upside for crude oil WTI and Brent oil futures as well. RSI stochastic still pointing upwards. They still didn't enter the overbought levels. Let's see what's going to happen. Meanwhile, we move on to silver futures, which just like gold are testing that 20 MA to the downside, $26.08 for silver futures this afternoon. What's happening with the silver futures? RSI stochastic turned around, pointing downwards. We're very likely going to see a retest this afternoon, guys, on the back of a stronger dollar, possibly. 25.76 eyed for the first take profit to the downside for silver futures, if silver futures will continue the downtrend. And now we're looking at Bitcoin, guys, the good almighty Bitcoin, which is currently trading at $22,632 after it gave back some gains, little gains on the European trading session today. We see a green candlestick starting. Yeah, it was a retest, almost a retest of that 50 moving average of that 22,201 that we see there. Meanwhile, Bitcoin remains with great potential to the upside. However, guys, we are in uncharted territories. We do not know where Bitcoin will go next. If prior to Bitcoin reaching the all-time high, the previous all-time high of 20,000, we had some benchmarks, we had some support resistance levels, we had some previous highs, some previous lows to keep an eye on. In this case, we have nothing. So extreme caution is advised when you're trading Bitcoin. Meanwhile, we're looking at Ethereum, guys, which you see the similarity on the charts. There it is. Ethereum came down, tested that 50 moving average to the downside. Yeah, Bitcoin has the same potential. Yeah, very, very similar movement. It's inches away from that 50 MA. We might see it pushing a bit lower, just a bit lower. Now, Ethereum, $638.88 for Ethereum this afternoon after a retest of that 50 moving average to the downside after an impressive rally in the last 3-4 trading sessions. RSI stochastic, somewhere in between, a bit of divergence between indicators. We can't tell exactly what's going to happen. But I'll tell you what, maybe the trading signals will help us. We're already almost 20 minutes into the US trading session, guys. The markets should start settling. Now we see a strong sell on a 5-minute chart on the euro and the pound versus the US dollar this afternoon. The pound has 3 strong sell positions. The daily remains a strong buy though on the pound and the euro. But as things stand right now, at least investing.com is expecting the euro and the pound to drop a bit versus a stronger US dollar. We're looking at USD JPY with a strong buy position on a 5-minute chart. Yeah, the daily remains a strong sell though, so it might we might look at just a tiny pullback. Still, give the markets a bit of time. It's Friday afternoon, guys. Some traders don't feel like trading. The big banks, the big boys, are probably getting ready for the weekend, so the volumes might remain very, very low this afternoon. Moving on, we're looking at USD CHF, guys, which is, okay, the signals are changing as we speak. Strong sell positions on the euro and the pound versus the US dollar. USD CHF, we have a strong buy on a 15-minute chart and a strong sell on a daily. The Aussie dollar has a strong sell on the first 2 time frames, so it's expected to weaken versus the US dollar. And as we go down, guys, we're looking at euro with 4 green versus the pound. The euro is expected to strengthen versus the pound. Moving on, the Kiwi dollar, strong sell on 3 time frames versus the US dollar. Euro JPY, strong sell. Euro CHF, very undecided. A strong sell on a 5-minute chart, and the daily remains a strong buy. GBP JPY and GBP CHF, 3 red, guys. 3 strong sell positions on the pound versus the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc. Let's have a look at commodities now, see what the markets are doing 20 minutes into the US trading session. Silver and gold futures are very undecided on short-term trading. The 15 minutes hourly and daily remain a strong buy, though. Copper is a strong buy on 5 minutes daily and hourly. Crude oil WTI and Brent oil, 4 green, guys. Finally, 4 green for crude oil and Brent oil. Great potential to the upside, and we saw both crude and Brent oil rallying in the last couple of hours. Yeah, and then natural gas, 4 green, and US wheat in red. Let's have a quick look at Wall Street indices. What is happening with Wall Street indices this afternoon? What's expected to happen on the US trading session? The S&P 500 and the Dow have strong sell positions on a 5-minute chart. The hourly and the daily remain a strong buy, though. NASDAQ 100 is very undecided, but the big NASDAQ, 4 green on the NASDAQ. Small cap 2000, Russell 2000, 4 green on the Russell 2000. Apparently, the stimulus measures are working, guys. Apparently, the closer we get to the deadline, which is today, for the stimulus measures, the better the US indices are doing. Right. Let's have a quick look at some stocks, guys. Yeah, some stocks. It might be worth looking at some stocks this afternoon. Let's see if we get something that makes sense. ExxonMobil, Apple, and Microsoft. All 3 of them have strong sell positions shortly after the US Open. Procter & Gamble, on the other hand, 4 green on Procter & Gamble, 4 strong buy positions, and IBM as well, 4 green for IBM. Potential to the upside. Let's see what else has great potential. AT&T, 4 red for AT&T, and Chevron as well, 4 red for Chevron. This is what is happening this afternoon on the markets, guys. We are only 2 hours away, 2 hours and 10 minutes away from the Fidelity Gala Awards, guys, after a long week. After you spent 5 hours this week watching us live, it's your time to shine with the Fidelity Gala Awards, where we reward you for watching us live and learning Forex. Join us in 2 hours from now for the Fidelity Gala Awards. Until then, remember to trade responsibly and may all your trades be in the money.